So hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Bitcoin hasn't really moved a lot, but I want to explain something on the chart that I find quite interesting. So far, 42.6k. The bulls and the bears are still fighting, playing ping pong really with all of us, because the market has not yet decided in which direction Bitcoin wants to move in the next few days. As you know, in each scenario, we've got clear target areas, but so far, we really haven't decided yet which way we go. Do we go into this range here first before we come down, or do we go straight away into this area where we would also land if we go up first and then down? These are my two primary scenarios, all based on probabilities, on my view, how I see the market. Of course, it could turn out differently. You know, I'm not a fortune teller. This is what I see in the market, what I think the market is going to head. And we're really at a tipping point at the moment. And we also need to say very honestly, until we really leave that channel in which we are, in which Bitcoin is, it is really very hard to say what is going to happen next, because we are in a channel, we are in a consolidation phase. We've got two clear boundaries. It's a little bit like in a triangle. When you're moving in a triangle, you also really can't tell in which direction a price will break out. Yes, there are probabilities, like, you know, when you have a trend continuation pattern, like a symmetrical triangle, you're coming from below, you move up, then this would typically be called a bullish pennant. And you can assume that you're going to break to the upside, because it's logical. It's a trend continuation pattern in an uptrend. So, however, here it is really hard to say, because we are in this huge channel, and we have been really, we have entered this channel on the 6th of January. So that gives you an idea how long we've been in this one, right? So it's unbelievable actually. And here we hit the support level the first time of that channel on the 24th of January. Just gives you an idea how long we really have been moving in this boring channel. Well, and again, what I wanted to show you in the previous video, actually, I told you that one reason or one way how Bitcoin could be saved from going down lower would be that this scenario eventually plays out. So that we really, and I haven't changed it anyway, this is still now my primary scenario, where we're moving up first and then come down. So we move first in a larger wave B, in a larger corrective. Oh dear, well, that's outside, sorry about that. Unbelievable. All right, and then we move up in a larger wave B and then come down in a wave C. Now in this B wave, yeah, this again is split into an A, B, C. And in this current C wave, a C wave has 5 waves, okay? So in the previous video, I told you that I believe this has been invalidated, because, you know, we've made a wave 1, we've come down in a wave 2, we've moved up in a wave 3, we're coming down in a wave 4, and a wave 5. And typically one of the rules of the Elliott Wave method is that in a wave 4 you can't cut into the price region of a wave 1. And it's true that it's getting less likely when you do it, but it's actually not been invalidated. So I sat down earlier today and looked at what alternative wave counts could play out here and what could really be the next move. But I think the most likely is that this is still at play. Even though I don't like it a lot, I don't really pretty much like it. But yeah, I believe it would be in this scenario, this would still be the most likely wave count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And even though I don't, as I said, particularly like it. So in a wave C, yeah, the wave 1 and the wave 4 can actually overlap. It is not, well, it happens regularly, but typically would happen in a so-called diagonal. And this would have to be a diagonal as well, even though I don't particularly like it. So typically what you get is something like a wedge pattern, right? Like a falling wedge, like an ascending wedge, yeah? And in these kind of wedges, you can get these overlaps. In a wave C, that is perfectly allowed. Now the problem that we have here, if I label it, but I still think it would be in this sort of bullish scenario or more bullish scenario, it would still be the most valid wave count. The problem is what I have here. I mean, what do I have? Do I have a falling wedge? Do I have an ascending wedge? No, not really. So the problem is that you have a wedge and you've got an ascending wedge, but you don't have a contracting wedge. So basically you have an ascending, broadening wedge, which, yeah, is actually quite interesting. It happens rarely. First of all, an ascending, broadening wedge happens rarely. And also, I checked my books on Elliott Wave method and so on. And also the authors of these books say that it happens quite rarely, but it is absolutely valid in a wave C to get these ascending broadening wedges, but you find them in practice quite rarely. Okay, so this is interesting. So we actually have something that adds up here, because this would make sense. This would still be possible with an overlapping wave 4 and 1, and you have here your wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and the next move would then be that 5th wave to the upside. That would also make sense from a point of view that we have here identified this descending wedge pattern, where we possibly find support here. And there's also an explanation why we're currently finding support here. And then the next wave would be up, yeah? But because it is an ascending broadening wedge, which actually typically is a bearish pattern, yeah, like an ascending wedge, it shows exhaustion. What could really happen is that we move up as indicated here and get exhausted, maybe get a huge bearish divergence. And of course, this is to a degree speculation now, isn't it? We don't really know. But obviously, we like to discuss here the next moves of the market. And then you could, from here, move in the target area. I think that would be actually quite a nice way how to solve this possible scenario. For that, however, the price, of course, needs to move through the 200-day moving average. And also what I wanted to show you are these Fibonacci levels of the wave 4. Because we want to know where will the market most likely turn around here and move up. And as you can see here on this channel, we're actually already finding support. So if we draw it like that, those Fibonacci retracements of this move, and we define the most likely target areas for such a wave 4, yeah. So then we can define this as the area. So here, let me make that green. So here in this area between the 61.8% Fibonacci level at 41,600 and the 38.2% Fib level at 44,100, this is where the wave 4 should definitely end. And this would also make sense in terms of, oh no, didn't want to take that out, but I take the Fibs out. It would make sense in terms of the lower support, because down here, as I said before, we've got the 50-day moving average, and that will most likely provide support as well. So if we're dropping here lower, I think in the first instance, we would get support at 41,800. Here we could then start to move up, stay possibly within that ascending broadening wedge, and really move up in a final wave 5, which again would consist typically of 5 waves. I expect a lot of resistance here in this zone between 47,400 or 47,500 and 48,300. That is also where the 200-day moving average is running. So we're really currently squeezed between the 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average. Now, if we move below here, below that box, yeah, which would be what the wave 4 would do. If we drop below that, I don't think it's still a wave 4. Then we lose it. Then we come to the support level of that larger channel at 39.4K. And if you lose that, then you come down quite a lot, right? Then we could look at 34.5K. And then I think it's over anyway, that uptrend. So yeah, it will be very, very interesting, very exciting what's going on here at the moment. It appears to be boring, but actually if you look at the bigger picture, it's quite interesting though. I expect some volatility in the markets tomorrow. Quick outlook to tomorrow. Tomorrow we get the CPI data released in the USA, like every month. It could move the scenario into a certain direction, absolutely. So we've got the primary scenario still, where we move up first, and the alternative, where we go down. Both scenarios, only 2 here on the chart anyway, will end in this lower area. That is at least my view. And the question is just, do we go up first and come down, or do we go down straight away? And yeah, the CPI data could trigger a certain scenario. Normally, if the inflation is higher than expected, you would typically expect a lower price, yeah, because then the fears grow that that interest rates are going to increase, having a potentially negative impact on the crypto market and the stock market. And if the CPI data is lower than expected, you could see a bit of a boost in price. But what have we seen since I really cover it, last 4, 5, 6 months? It was only typically when those numbers come out, you see 1 or 2 hours of volatility. Be prepared for that tomorrow. There's a bit of volatility in the market. There's bots trading, all sorts of whales trying to influence the market, making money of it. So you can expect there is some volatility tomorrow in the market. But typically after 2 or 3 hours, it goes back to the previous level. So don't expect too much from tomorrow. It's always an event many people look at, but in the end, not too much has happened in the last few months. That is just fact. So don't expect too much, but it could, because we are at this tipping point at the moment, it could trigger a certain direction. That is possible this time. Good. And yeah, then later today at 5 o'clock UTC, we've got the live stream for channel members. So if you're interested in that, join it. Join the channel membership if you haven't done so, and then we can look at that. So yeah, certainly very interesting what's going on here at the moment. Just wanted to really update you about this 5-wave count. That is still a valid count, and that any other scenario or any other wave count would be would look a little bit made up. So yeah, I think this is still the most valid one in an uptrending scenario. All right, so hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.